Hi everybody, Justin Horniger here from the Running Through podcast. Wanted to bring to you this video to talk a little bit about some rules, some guidelines for training through a global pandemic, right? Something that we don't think about very often is just the idea that stress in our everyday situation is going to impact stress in our training, as well as certain challenges and certain etiquette rules and just societal rules that we need to abide by now. The important thing to remember is that this isn't status quo, that we need to change our habits, we need to change the way we act so that the good of everyone else, we need to have a little bit more empathy and a little bit less selfishness. We need to be able to change how we act in our daily routine because it's going to help out society as a whole. It's going to help out our neighborhood. It's going to help out our local environment if we can stay socially or physically isolated and not potentially get someone sick, and we can do our part. Everyone can do their part. So just remember, it's the health of society over the health of your training plan. And as runners, sometimes we're a little bit selfish about our running because that commitment that we need to physically improve, that commitment that you need to get out on the road and hit the miles. Sometimes we put other things to the side and put our running at the forefront. The good thing is that running itself is pretty socially isolated, or it can be, as long as we're doing the right things and we're taking the right precautions. So let me give you some rules, some tips, some guidelines to live by during this time of global pandemic, of global crisis. It's important to remember that we don't overcrowd the parks, don't overcrowd the trails, don't ruin this for everyone, because that's the next step. The next step is that they close down the parks, they close down the trails, and then we run out of places to get outside and to be active. So rule number one, don't overcrowd the trails. Only run with someone you already live with or are exposed to, or run solo. If you have to share the trail, make sure you keep that 10-foot bubble, especially when you're breathing heavy. It's something that can be a little bit hard if you're doing like a harder workout to really abide by, but it's important to not. If you go to a park and there's just a ton of people there, don't add to the mess. Because you can't control what other people do, but you can control what you do personally. Rule number two, it's important to remember that stress is stress. So my coach in college, Coach Kelly Blake, used to describe it as an emotional container. And this emotional container you take with you your entire life, through work, through classes, through workouts, through your social life. And everything that's stressful in your life is going to take out of that emotional container. Any stress you're going to take out of your container to deal with it. And ultimately, when we're working out hard, when we're training hard, our emotional container just depletes and things feel harder. So when you're in finals, or in the college instance, or you're in life right now and everything is hard and your life is upended, hard workouts are going to feel, they're not going to feel as easy as they would, especially when you're extremely stressed out. It's not going to, on the flip side, it's not going to take as much to reach that stimulus as it would under normal circumstances. So you have to remember, you have to be able to write your training plan in pencil. You have to be able to switch things on the fly and not feel over encumbered by that. But also remember not to run yourself into the ground in this time of just ridiculous amounts of stress. Rule number three, when in doubt, stay at home. You need to have a little bit of empathy, but also a little bit of selfishness for your mental health. If you're feeling a little bit run down, if you're feeling a little bit worn out, or if just mentally you don't feel like you can do it that day, either you just feel tired, you just feel worn down, stay at home. Don't risk it by going out, because ultimately the more worn down you are, the more susceptible you are to getting sick, the more susceptible you are to just having a bad day out on the roads, and that compounded over time can just mentally wear you down. So I would say err on the side of rest day more than you typically would in times of normality, just because of the greater implications at task, and you aren't really training for anything right now. Best case scenario, we won't be racing till the end of summer, early fall. I'm still skeptical on if all these races go off as planned at that point anyway, but given that it's March 29th at the time of recording, you can give yourself a little bit of leeway. Taking a break today because you're worn down in time of this global crisis is not going to affect who you are as a person, who you are as a runner. In fact, it's smart. Take this lesson from Tiger King. don't be like Joe Exotic. Joe hangs out in close proximity to his friends, makes music videos with big production crews. He smokes meth. So don't be like Joe. Be a little bit like Carol. Stay away from elderly family members. Hit the open trails alone, despite whether a hitman might be waiting for you. Just know that socially distance yourself. In fact, embrace socially distancing so much that you grind up your husband and you feed him to your tigers. That is the takeaway from this video. In the meantime, hope you guys can still get out there, still enjoy your running as just a way to mentally have a little bit of mindfulness for the time out on the road. Be able to mentally get away from everything that's going on. It's just so important, even if it's just for like 20 or 30 minutes, just to get out and be active during this time. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more just running stuff. I won't lecture you as much in future.